Good afternoon and welcome back to the Chamber South Spotlight with our partners at Miami Community Newspapers. My name is Brittnie Bassant. I'm the Executive Director for Chamber South, and today I have with me a very, very, very special guest. Her name is Giovanna Garcia Pons, but we know her as Geo. Geo from Geo Balance. Geo, it's a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you so much. Super excited to be here and share my story and all of my knowledge, and hoping that everyone walks away with a few nuggets.
So Geo is absolutely amazing and fantastic. And every time I talk to her, I talk to her. She's someone that you can have a conversation with for an hour and have it feel like 5 minutes. So bear with us as we go through this. But Geo is amazing. She is a health and life strategist. And we're going to talk more about what that term in itself means. But before we get there, let's find out who Geo is. What has she done? What's her story? And how has she worked through her career to be at this point where she is now a life strategist, life coach, health coach, wellness coach, all of the above. So Geo, tell me your journey.
Absolutely. So it starts with that question that everybody gets asked, and that is, what do you want to do when you grow up? So I said to myself, I wanted to be a corporate executive woman, and I wanted to work internationally. And I actually got my dream. I worked for the Coca-Cola company for about 16 years, traveled internationally.
So wait, I'm sorry. How old were you when you said that you wanted to be a corporate executive woman and travel internationally? Because I don't know anyone that would have given that answer, like, growing up.
Yeah. So a little bit something about me. I like to set goals, and I'm very specific about my goals. So actually college.
Okay. All right. That makes a little bit more sense.
Yes.
I'm thinking like, young, like I would have said, princess or, astronaut. I don't know, but that makes sense. Okay.
Yes. And so I got to do that, and it was amazing. It was a challenge every day. I got to travel all throughout Latin and Central America. And just like life has it, life throws you your challenges. And that challenge was that corporate America, as we know, goes through a lot of reorganizations. And it was my time to exit. I was in Miami, and then I found myself asking that question that other people may ask themselves, which is, what do I do next? What do I want to do? And so what I realized is that for a very long time, I was directing my passions towards myself, and I now wanted to pay it back from all the mentors, coaches, and advisors that I had had in my life to then direct my passions towards others to help them impact their lives and reach the goals that they want. So that's where I turned to where I came from, which is a health and wellness background, which I was an athlete, and I've basically have carried those habits throughout my life. And it was time for me to focus those for others in order to help them move forward in their goals and results that they wanted.
It's really, really, really very interesting. So my takeaway from that is you had these goals, you had your vision of what you wanted to do, you achieved it. And then the next step was to say, how do I now help others achieve their goals and their visions? And that is absolutely incredible. I think very selfless of you, Geo. So let's talk now about what it is that you do. So you were in corporate America, and now you have transitioned to Geo Balance, which is your own company, and you are a life wellness or health and life strategist, strategist.
That's correct.
I've known Geo through all the titles.
Yes. Well, to explain to you a little bit more about that, it comes from my story in the corporate world. And what that is that I found myself overwhelmed, burnt out, stressed to the place where I was just not motivated anymore to get up. And that was unlike me, and I couldn't find my way back. And I call it, I wanted back in my game. And a lot of that came from that I always consider myself being a strong-willed, unflappable professional and person. But I caught myself in a place where I got too far into working way too much, not focusing on myself, and therefore I was burnt out and overwhelmed. I didn't have the tools and resources that I should have had to progress and get back to the state that I wanted as quickly as I wanted to, because I didn't have those tools and resources. So coming from a health and wellness background, that's where I said, let me go out there now and help professionals who need these tools and resources so they don't get to the point where I got to, which was so tough to come back from, because when you reach that point of burnout, it's really hard to come back from.
And we can talk a little bit more about burnout a little bit later in the program, because I know that we just did a program with you through Chamber South. Geo does these wellness series with us, 3-part series that we do, these webinar workshop type events, all virtually because of the pandemic. And she's talked about different ways that we can address different areas of our life in terms of just health and mental wellness and burnout, and it's really targeted for the professional community. So we can talk a little bit about that later. But going back to Geo Balance, how long have you had your business?
So I'm going on 3 years now, and it's interesting how we all define certain things by dates. At least for me, I do it from the date that I left the corporate world. And so it's going to be 4 years in July.
So July is going to be 4 years that I've been with Chamber South. Yes.
Very nice.
So it's very interesting that synergy there. Okay. So Geo Balance, you've been around for 4 years, 3 to 4 years with this company. And I know that it's evolved a lot and changed a lot. And I know that evolution and that growth has been accelerated due to the past 12 to 14 months. So tell me a little bit about that.
It has. And so I truly believe that, one, everybody has a story, and that's what makes everybody unique. So when you are seeking to ask yourself, what's next, or what do I do? The most important thing is go back to your story, where you're from. And that's what happened to me and why it's developed, because I've tried to stray, right? Because society loves to tell you you should be doing things a certain way versus how you want them. And so the way that I've developed is that I started as a health coach, and then I was going to be a life coach. But then I realized that today we need assistance and really support. I don't like to use the word help, because help to people, they think, oh, I'm not weak or I don't need help. But everybody needs support getting you to the results that you want. And so in thinking that way, the way that I've brought my business is now I look at it from head to toe. So just not about health, but in life in general. What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? And I've put in programs and different steps in getting you there. So as I evolved, because it's also been a journey for my own, back to what I said, I'm coming from my story. That's how it's developed. And today I really treat and support the person from head to toe in any aspect of her life.
And I think that's very clear in your title. And I think your title is very telling. I mean, words have meanings. I say that all the time. Words have meanings. People look at me like, well, duh. But deeper. So when you look at your title, Life Strategist, it is about a strategy. It is about a plan. It's not you need to do this. This is how we're going to get you from point A to point B.
Yes.
And that's so important.
Yes, because let me tell you, the biggest challenge that I believe, or the obstacle that we are faced with, is that we set these goals, right? It's like New Year's resolutions. We want certain results and we want them now. But we forget it's kind of like an onion. We've got to peel all the layers back and forth in order to take those small little layers and steps to reaching your goal. And that can be very overwhelming. And that's what I do. I say, okay, this is what you want. So for example, it could be weight loss. It can be getting a promotion. It can be saving up for your house. Whatever you desire to have in your life, let's break it down and get to the goal by starting with the action. People start with the goal and then they don't have it the next day. And then they become, they demotivate themselves, and then they say, forget it, I don't want it anymore.
Yes, it can be extremely overwhelming, especially when you're talking about these very overarching, high attaining goals. How do you break those down into more manageable steps that you can achieve and have these small victories and have these small wins so you keep motivating yourself to keep moving forward? So one thing I was going to ask, you kind of touched on it, but walk me through briefly. I mean, we're not going to give away everything. We're not going to give away all the secrets, right? I mean, like you want to reach out to Geo and work with her because she's incredible. But walk me through what a sample program would look like. Just how would you work with a client that wanted to achieve a goal? And what does that look like? What's the time frame that we're looking at? Yeah. What is, like, how often do you check in? What does that look like?
Yes. So first of all, I would say that I'm known for doing a reset on your total lifestyle. So let's just haul it rehaul it and just build it how you want it to be. Because a lot of terms that you hear from people is I want it to be a lifestyle. Great, then let's make it a lifestyle. So what we do, or what I do, is we start working on your foundation, the basics. And why? Because there's something that I believe in, and it's a quote, and it says, little actions repeated relentlessly result in big changes. And so do not underestimate small multiplied by often. So what we do is we come up with your goals. What is that you want? We put them aside, and we literally, like it snail pace, week by week, I put you into action towards the building blocks, building what is necessary to get the results that you want. Foundation, because from that, you will have healthy habits that will last you a lifetime, that when life happens, because life is going to happen, right? We all know that. You can, and you become derailed, you can always come back to that foundation. That's generally what we do.
And that's incredible. So there's a lot of takeaways there, right? Obviously, don't underestimate or don't devalue something small, but often. Mm-hmm. So small multiplied by often. But also too, it's a lifestyle. Anything that you want to change, or anything that you want to do, or any big goal that you are trying to achieve, that is a lifestyle that you now have to incorporate and adapt to and make a part of your everyday.
Yeah.
And that's incredibly important.
And I'll give everyone a small tip. And that is that when you set out to accomplish or work on a goal or results that you're seeking, the first thing you have to do is, I call it decluttering. You have to make space for it. We as humans, we only have so much capacity. So what is it that you're going to get rid of? It's kind of when you buy new furniture, right? If you buy a new couch, you got to get rid of the old one. So as human beings, we don't do that. We pile on over and over on top of our plates until they're overflowing. And that's why we're running around like crazy. We're burnt out. So declutter. What is it that you need to get rid of? And what's interesting is decluttering doesn't necessarily mean physical. It means what is weighing on your mind that you need to get rid of. Is it someone that you cannot control that's taking 20% of your space up here? Is it something that when you walk in the corner of your house and there's a pile of laundry, or there's a pile of mail that every time you look at it, you're like, oh, that just, I can't look at it. Though that's what you do first. Because in order to get results that you want, you get to have intention every day and the commitment to continue working every day, trusting the process to getting the results that you want. If you do that, there's no stopping you.
Geo's told me that quite a few times. I know that's one of her number one pieces of advice is you need to make space. You need to declutter and to make space. And like she said, it's not always a physical decluttering. That could be a mental decluttering or emotional decluttering, but that is absolutely necessary if you want to make a change. Mm-hmm. I also think that you're the one that told me you have to live a life or create a life that you can wake up every day and feel content with the life that you've created and the life that you've built. And if that's not something that you're feeling or that you have, that's when you call Geo.
Yes.
And she will help you get to that point and build that life that you can be content with.
And the question that I love to ask is, how do you want to wake up? I mean, have you ever asked yourself, how do I want to wake up? I don't know, happy, vulnerable, motivated? Like, think about that and create now a routine around that so that you get that. I will also tell you that as a health coach and life strategist, I'm not there to tell you what to do. I'm not there to basically take your hand and say, these are the steps, do this, do that. I'm there to ask questions because, believe it or not, and I know it might sound like a cliche, but what everybody's searching for, truly, we have it inside. And we really know what we want and we know how to get it done. It's just that everything gets so convoluted on everyday lives with multitasking and so many things. So I'm there to create non-judgmental space for you, someone who's going to listen and see you, and give you that support, but ask the hard questions where you're going to look at me and go, that's a really good question.
The hard questions and the uncomfortable truths. I think that's key to what you do, because you need someone that's gonna dig down and find the root of it. And like you said, we have all the answers within us. We know we're the creators of our own lives and our own journeys.
Yeah.
So it's all within us, but you are going to pull it out and bring it up to the surface and in some cases make you face it head on.
Yeah. And Brittnie, another question that I get is, what's the difference between you and a therapist?
Oh, let's talk about that. Because it's sounding a lot like therapy, right? It's not. It really isn't.
Yeah. So it's not therapy. So what a health coach or a life strategist, works on are changing your habits. So it's habit changing. It's behavioral change. Okay. A therapist works on, once you find the root of the issue, then you go in deeper to work on your identity, your belief of yourself, childhood trauma, more past.
And I remember us talking about this, that you were saying, therapists really look at the past, and your way of doing, your model, if you will, is about looking at the future. Yes. What do you want to achieve and how do we get you there, versus just, kind of digging through the past. Yeah. And that's because you're about making changes and moving forward and attaining goals and very measurable things.
And the biggest thing is, we don't just talk. I put you into action. You have homework. I hold you accountable to say, this week, this is what we're going to focus on. By the way, based on what you want to do that you told me, because I'm not going to tell you what to do.
Exactly. She even makes us do homework on the webinars, guys. Like she will make you work. We'll be writing things down. We'll be discussing it. We'll be following guidelines and plans.
Yeah.
It's really incredible,
because that's the only way to get to where you want. If you want that promotion, you got to work at it. You just have to have a plan laid out as to what are the steps to get you that promotion. Buying a house, same thing. Everything requires steps. It's kind of like the how-to, right? The books for buying a house for dummies, right? It's any subject or topic.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about Chamber South, because we obviously the past 12 to 14 months, or however long it's been, just this whole pandemic that we've gone through. I reached out to Geo early on through that, because I recognized, and this was back when I think I considered you more of a mental wellness. Well, I always considered Geo a wellness coach. I always said she handles mental wellness, emotional wellness, and physical wellness. And then that's evolved into health and life strategist, because I think the strategist part of the title is extremely important. It helps you realize that there is a vision and a plan and a strategy to get to there. But during the pandemic, we're providing a lot of resources for the community, right? There's a lot of business resources, like how do you get funding, and how do you adapt to all of the changes that the county's putting out and the new regulations, et cetera, et cetera. And there was a huge part of that time that mental health was really at the forefront, because there were a lot of changes that were happening, and how do you adapt to those changes? So we brought Geo in. We said, let's start doing some we called it a wellness check-in. And we did that webinar with Geo. We can talk a little bit about that. And then that evolved into, this webinar series that we now do with you through Chamber South. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. And the webinar series is a perfect fit in exactly what I do. So it's a sneak peek into getting the hands-on experience of how this process works. And by the way, just not with me, because there's plenty of other life coaches out there and health coaches and whatever titles, because I will tell you that I truly believe that there's a place for everyone. So yes, friendly competition is good, but really there's a lot of people who need support and help throughout various areas in their life. But this webinar series that we're doing,
but you're highly endorsed and recommended by Chamber South. I'm just throwing that out there.
Thank you.
Like, I mean, yes, there's others, but Geo's our girl. Like she's our girl. There are others, but Geo's absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So the webinar series, because you asked for 3 different, parts to it, fit perfectly into what I do, which are the 3 areas. Number 1, health and wellness. What does that include? That includes weight loss, maintenance, or just overall health. in our day-to-day lives.
And very timely that we did that in
Yeah.
January when
Yes.
everyone's like holiday weight, everyone makes the New Year's resolution to lose weight. So we did that one in January and it was
perfect.
so on point and so timely.
Yes. The second one is stress management and resilience, which really, guys, equals mental health. It's just disguised in another word, and another type of, usage of words. Why? Because we know that today the word mental health still kind of
has that stigma.
Yeah,
it's getting better. It's getting
does.
so much better. I really truly believe that it's getting so much better, and there's more acceptance and understanding and awareness of it, and people are recognizing that it's something that needs to be addressed, but there's still a stigma. But yes, that's when we discuss burnout.
Yes, we discuss burnout and stress and what to do. And the key there into that stress management and resilience is to have self-awareness to then be able to self-regulate yourself. Awareness is the biggest gift that you can give yourself. So that was the second one. And then the third one is about professional and personal development.
And the third one is coming up.
Yes.
So we have not hosted the third one. So
Yes.
if you're interested, keep an eye out on our Chamber South email list to find out when
Yes.
Geo's next workshop with us will be.
And I'll give a sneak peek. The personal and professional development is about what do I want to do when I grow up? And by the way, it doesn't matter if you're in your 40s or 50s, you can still decide what you want to do when you grow up. It's linked to purpose. It's linked to do you really know who you are? What are your strengths? What do you need? All different kind of ways, which a lot of people also are a little afraid of, because some of us, we don't want to hear about our opportunities or our gaps or challenges. And for some others, we do. But that's the way we grow. We continue to grow. And as long as we have a willing ear to listen, we can move forward. So,
but like you said, we have the answers within us.
Mhm.
We know what it is that we want, or what's even maybe holding us back. We know ourselves better than anyone else. And it's your job, I don't want to say, but it's your goal. It's your now your passion that you dedicated yourself to help us realize those, face those uncomfortable truths, I like to say, and address them so that we can move forward. And that's incredible. And I think personally, the work that you're doing and the way that you've approached from your corporate career and recognizing what you went through in your corporate career and not having the resources that you needed to help you during that period of your time, and now dedicating your life's work to making sure that other professionals don't experience what you experience, that is so incredibly selfless, Geo. That is absolutely amazing. I am so I'm just so proud of you, which is so weird for me to say. I mean, I've known you for a while, but it's absolutely amazing to just have you here.
No, thank you for that. I received that compliment because let me tell you, I resisted the process, just like a lot of us resist a lot. We know that there's some things that we should be doing, but we find every excuse to run away from it. And why? Usually it's because of fear. But the biggest one is it's the unknown. We don't like change. Our brains don't like change. And I can explain all that to you if you work with me, because it's a part of it. Every obstacle, everything that happens comes from your mind. So, yeah.
All right. So we're going to wrap up. We're getting on, the time for us to wrap up. So give me your elevator pitch essence of Geo Balance. Why should someone who's watching right now or will be watching this program reach out and connect with you and work with you?
Got it. So it's based on the individual who feels stuck. And when we feel stuck, it's because we do not know or have found yet other options. Because if we do have other options, which comes through perspective change, then we would be moving forward. So in whatever it is that you're feeling stuck, whatever area in your life, whether it's your health, finances, love and relationships, career and calling, or even your connection to something greater, those areas, if you feel stuck in them, I am the person who opens up your mind to a different perspective to give you the option so that you can move forward and then get to the state that we all desire, which is what? To have peace, joy, and satisfaction, and be able just to be.
And to wake up every morning, content with the life that we've created for ourselves and the life that we're living.
Yes.
Absolutely. Geo, it was such a pleasure. It was such a pleasure chatting with you today. Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you to everyone that's watched. Remember to tune in every Thursday for our Chamber South Spotlight with Miami Community Newspapers. Thanks.